Colonel Rajinder Singh, Sena Medal, to give us a brief account of the Battle of Gadi on the northern flank of Jhelum River. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Rajinder Singh, Sena Medal, is the son of Captain Prithvi Singh, who fought the Battle of Gadi on the northern flank of Jhelum River. Colonel Rajinder Singh, may I invite you on the podium, sir.
Dr. Karan, His Highness, as far as we are concerned, and all the officers and all the people of Jammu and Kashmir who got together for this August event. I mean, it was a pleasure seeing even students being called for this particular event, which is very important. I will make it short and sweet because due to paucity of time, I've got to continue from where the previous speaker had left off. Can I have I have the slide of His Highness Maharaja Hari Singh Ji. My father, Captain Prithvi Singh, was his ADC, and he's had very fond memories of His Highness, who was a very, very brave person. And my father had the opportunity to put up the first defense after Muzaffarabad. When the enemy was coming from Muzaffarabad and Domel side, my father, along with Brigadier Rajinder Singh Ji, a very, very brave Chief of Staff, who had moved forward with just about a little over 100 odd troops to save Srinagar. Every day counted. So he put in his best foot forward, and he had taken my father's company, at least it was a depleted company. It consisted of just 2 platoons of just barely about 20 people each. Yet all of them were full of fire to stop the enemy as long as they could, because His Highness had told Brigadier Rajinder Singh to hold the enemy at all costs. And Brigadier Rajinder Singh had promised that the enemy can get to Srinagar only over his dead body. And he lived up to his promise. And he saved Srinagar also, just by a day. Now, the strength of our Dogra fighters is amazing. I have never seen it in history that people can be, so strong with a small force, and seeing a force of about 5,000 to 600 Pakistanis mounted on troops and moving towards Gadi. And my father was in the leading platoon. He was told by Brigadier Rajinder Singh to hold it at all costs. And the second platoon was Duni Chand Ji, who was part of Baba's force only, and a very, very brave man. So initially what happened, can I have the next slide, please? I'll just, yes, please continue. Yes, now just hold it there. This is my father. Thank you. So, this is my father, Captain Prithvi Singh. Please keep it as that only. He was the one whose platoon was right up in front, and he had been ADC with His Highness also, plus he was retailed by Brigadier Rajinder Singh to be the first platoon to hold the enemy at all costs and delay them as long as he could, and then fall back to the next platoon, and like that fall back in series of delaying positions. So, next slide please. Next. Okay, now we'll start off from Gadi, where after Muzaffarabad the enemy mounted on trucks and they came down towards Gadi, and from this other side, from Srinagar side, they've already come up to Uri, and from Uri the troops of Brigadier Rajinder Singh moved up. So from beyond Uri, he had only taken my father's company that consisted of 2 platoons, that is the leading platoon, that was my father, and the second platoon was Subedar Dunicha. Now, as soon as they moved up, I mean, the enemy had already started burning Gadi, and when they reached on top, there was a very prominent bend. At that bend, my father was told by Brigadier Rajinder Singh, you hold them from here. And then he moved back, and there was a kind of another area for defense, but you could not see my father's platoon, and my father's platoon could not see Duni Chandji's platoon, because it was on the other side of the hill. So from where my father was, he got his troops up onto the rocky outcrop. I mean, it was located like this. The next slide, please. Now, as you see the sketch, the one, I'll just explain this map to you all, because Domel is to the north of this sketch. From Domel, the enemy was coming in towards Gadi, and from Gadi it was to go down towards Uri. This is the road. The red thing is depicted as the road. It was not in a very good condition, and where my father was positioned was where you can see 2 small mountains made on the road on the right hand side. Captain Brigadier Singh is written there. Now, you can see the road towards the left and the right of it, of this mountains thing. Actually, this cannot be seen from this side, because Subedar Dunichand was towards south, and he was on the other side of the hill and the mountain, and then you could just see the the rocky outcrop on the right hand side with a sheer drop and the Jhelum river, and on the left side of the road facing north was this mountain feature. So my father decided to put a section on the left hand side and 2 sections on this rocky outcrop mountain. So from on top, my father told them that nobody is going to fire without my permission, and I will give the order to fire. We will observe the enemy, let them come up to 100 yards. And since the location was close and they did not have any radio set, because none of the forces, I mean, beyond Ukuri, I mean, they had a radio set. Only the brigadier's group had radio set to communicate with the rear. So, since there was no radio set as such, my father was shouting to his platoon that this is how we are going to fight the battle. Now, from a distance, they saw the enemy coming in towards them, mounted on these trucks. Now, these trucks were coming as though, they were on a holiday, because they killed everybody in Muzaffarabad. They killed everybody in Domel, and their morale was very high, and they never thought anybody will stop them. The moment they came within 100 yards, my father gave the order to fire. The moment they started firing, these guys never knew what happened and what hit them. The leading truck people were, shot up properly. The second truck was also the third one, because they were just about 100 yards that time. They got off and they started running back. Meanwhile, the enemy started, pulling down the LMGs and the mortars in order to be able to fire back. My father had that much of time to fire as much of bullets and his mortar, that one mortar that he had, and the LMG. They carried on blasting them till they could, and they killed almost about 200 odd people, and they carried on fighting till the ammunition was almost over. Now my father decided, they had almost about 10 to 12 casualties and, some wounded, some dead. And my father himself, from on top of this rocky outcrop, because he was on the highest point, and he was kneeling down and firing at the enemy. A bullet came from the left, and it just tore up his thigh. The front side of his thigh tore up, and he had to get about 26, 28 stitches in the military hospital much later. So after being wounded also, he continued his command, and he told the section near the road, he says, go and capture the nearest vehicle, because we don't have any vehicle to go back. So they captured the vehicle and they started moving back towards Duni Chandji's platoon. So they reached Duni Chandji's platoon. Unfortunately, they thought it was an enemy vehicle. Despite my father putting up his white vest on his rifle, he put it up and was waving out at them. But this is the fog of war, and you can't blame anybody. They fired at my father's vehicle. The driver died because he was right. He got shot up and he banged his vehicle towards the mountainside. So my father got off and he started limping forward with that flag, and somehow somebody saw that and they stopped firing. And after that, his force got evacuated. I can actually continue for quite some time, but I know there's a paucity of time. But all I want to say is, my father did his best for his state and his Maharashtra and his